David, does Bud have a chance against Canelo?
I think he does, bro. I think if anybody could beat Canelo, I think Bud, his IQ and his experience will definitely help him through. It's just that, you know what I mean? He's going up 2 other weight classes when he had just went up to him.
Caleb Plant has finally broken his silence on the highly anticipated clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, and his take has immediately grabbed attention across the boxing world.
Stylistically, this is just my last follow-up. Do you think Canelo should be the favorite in the fight because he's bigger, or do you see he had trouble with Skull, his speed? Terence is going to throw a lot more, and he has that speed also.
Regardless of however the fight itself plays out, I feel like the betting people will probably have Canelo as a favorite.
Having personally felt Canelo's power in the ring, Plant explained that this fight will not resemble anything fans have seen in recent years. He made it clear that the matchup between the Mexican superstar and the American pound-for-pound great is set to bring a completely different energy. With the date now around the corner, anticipation has reached fever pitch. On September 13th, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas will host one of the most significant showdowns in modern boxing history. Crawford is stepping into the super middleweight division for the first time, aiming to dethrone Canelo, who currently rules as the undisputed champion at 168 pounds.
Your favorite, Canelo or Crawford?
Canelo.
Yeah.
Canelo.
What do you think is the most significant part of that matchup in Canelo being Canelo versus Crawford?
That he's comfortable at 168. You know, that he's been fighting there. He went and collected all the belts at that weight class. Crawford, of course, Crawford has a chance. He has a big chance, you know, being one of the pound-for-pound fighters of the world. But it's just the advantage of being there first. You know what to expect in that weight class. Crawford's coming off a 154 fight that he fought last year. So I really don't consider him even a 154. He's been fighting at 147 for a while. He had that one fight at 154, and then he stopped fighting for a year again. So, of course, he's probably been training, again, high-class fighter. But to be comfortable at 168, you're going to have to do some fights in there. And going in there fighting the undisputed champion, it's going to take a toll.
Plant, who once held the IBF title until Canelo took it from him, gave his own analysis of the bout. He predicted that fans will see more action and higher punch volume compared to some of Canelo's previous contests. While admitting the odds naturally lean toward Canelo since Crawford is moving up multiple divisions, he refused to pick a winner. To him, this is one of those rare fights that fans should simply sit back and enjoy rather than overanalyzing predictions.
It doesn't matter what the betting odds say, though. You know what I'm saying? I've been the underdog a couple times. Jose Uzcategui, I was the underdog. That's how I became world champion. So, odds only mean so much. Once the bell rings, the fighters get to figure it out.
Do you think Canelo wins? Or do you think Terence wins? This is my last one.
Can't say. Can't say, don't know. I'm just, as a fan, excited to see the fight. And from the boxing knowledge that I have, which I feel like is decent, I think it's going to be a real good fight. I'm excited for it.
Not everyone shares Plant's cautious stance. Mexican legend Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., one of the nation's most iconic champions, views the fight in far more decisive terms. He has zero doubts that Canelo's size and power will overwhelm Crawford, regardless of his skill. Chavez Sr. believes the weight difference will inevitably show, and he confidently predicts Canelo will end the fight early, envisioning a knockout around the 6th or 7th round.
Bueno, es una pelea muy dispareja, la verdad. Crawford es un gran peleador, pero no tiene nada que hacer en ese peso. Con todo respeto, él va por el dinero y Canelo lo va a noquear.
The two fighters are going to be different weight classes, even though they're going to fight on a specific weight. He believes that they're just going because of the money, Crawford, but probably Canelo is going to...
On the opposite end, Antonio Tarver has full confidence in Crawford's ability to shock the world yet again. While acknowledging the danger Canelo poses, Tarver believes Crawford's mental sharpness, adaptability, and fluid rhythm could allow him to control the fight. He sees Crawford's quickness and unpredictable timing as key weapons against Canelo, who often relies on counters and steady pressure. For Tarver, the outcome won't be about size, but about who makes smarter decisions under fire.
Terence got to be Terence, bro. He's a real deep thinker. He processed fights like nobody else. And he's processed this Canelo fight. He's seen it. He went through it 2 or 3 times already. He knows how this ends. You can tell the way he shadow boxes. He visualizing Canelo being right there in front of him. You understand? Look at the movement. That's all you got to do. Look at the movement. And that's the type of master boxer that Canelo is going to be facing. And the only thing I say is Canelo hasn't faced an opponent like this in a long time. You know what I mean? I think Canelo's going to have to go back to the Caleb Plant fight and look that good, that active, that, you feel me, moving with that type of grace to beat Terence Crawford. Because weight ain't going to make the difference. It ain't going to be the weight. It's going to be the skill set.
Another big name weighing in is Andy Ruiz, a fighter who knows what it's like to shock the boxing world after his upset win over Anthony Joshua. Ruiz respects Canelo's ability but pointed out that styles matter more than size. He reminded fans that Canelo has historically struggled against slick southpaws, and with Crawford's left-handed stance and high ring IQ, he could pose serious problems. Ruiz himself refused to declare a clear winner, instead calling it a fight that's too dangerous to predict with certainty.
All I know is that if you were in a Canelo Crawford card, that card would be a million times. It's still an amazing card, but you would have added a lot. Who wins, Canelo or Crawford?
I think it's gonna be a good fight, man. I'm going for Canelo, of course. You know, he's the Mexican warrior as well. And for Crawford, man, you can't neglect him or you can't underestimate him as well. You know, he has a lot of skills, a lot of movement. He's a lefty as well. That's what Canelo has trouble with. I think it's gonna be an amazing fight, man. I just can't wait, and the best man wins.
On a more cautious note, veteran trainer Abel Sanchez raised concerns about Crawford's rapid jump across weight classes. In just over a year, Crawford has bulked up considerably, but Sanchez argued that it takes years to properly build the kind of frame needed to withstand someone like Canelo. He warned that the added muscle might slow Crawford down, taking away his greatest strengths, speed and reflexes. If that happens, Sanchez believes Canelo will punish him.
To have a guy come up from 140 pounds in such a short period of time, I'm not saying he couldn't have done it. If he'd have taken 3 or 4 years like Canelo did and built up his, not only his strength, but his bulk in the correct way, he would have had a better chance. But to do it in these 14, 15 months that he's done.
Even Andre Ward, one of the sharpest boxing minds ever, weighed in with his perspective. Ward noted that both men are hybrids who blend power with strategy rather than relying solely on brawling or pure boxing. He emphasized that the fight won't be decided by who can land the hardest shot, but by which man can best balance offense and discipline. In Ward's eyes, recklessness on either side could prove catastrophic.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. You know, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this last couple of years, I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can beat.
Arislandi Lara, who knows Canelo well from their controversial fight years ago, argued that Crawford's only realistic path to victory is through movement and discipline. Lara explained that Crawford should avoid heavy exchanges, which play directly into Canelo's strengths. Instead, he advised him to stay elusive, control distance, and force Canelo to chase. For Lara, the key lies in ring control and composure, not brute force.
A very interesting 50-50 fight. He feels like Canelo's very strong right now, and he wants to figure out to see how Crawford's gonna handle the power, especially in the early rounds. And what's gonna happen? He said he remembers fighting Canelo back 14 years ago it is now. And he said he remembers he uses legs real good. And as long as Crawford uses his legs and he doesn't let Canelo just hit him in the arms and beat him up in the arms, he has a very good chance of fighting.
Amir Khan's perspective carries weight because he has faced both men. His experiences, however, ended brutally. In 2016, he suffered a devastating knockout against Canelo, and 3 years later, his fight with Crawford ended in frustration after a low blow stoppage. Despite this, Khan surprisingly leans toward Crawford. He considers him one of the sharpest minds in boxing and insists that Crawford's underrated power makes him far more dangerous than many realize.
Might be even stronger than he might be stronger than Canelo. He might pack the weight on well. He might do really well in there. So look, regardless,
fight them both. Like, what are the differences between them? Obviously, it's weight.
Canelo's strong and is easily hit, very easily hit, very easily. Yeah. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't hit clean. Yeah. So really, that's the difference. And they both hit hard. Yeah. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much weight? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go for fighting Canelo?